March 2023. It's time now to switch gears to the discussion relating to the elections. We are 2 days away to the gubernatorial elections and the State House of Assembly elections. We know we've had an election on the 25th of February, and the result of the election, even though contentious, is one to be discussed about. At every single family that you have will always have a discussion about the elections and the outcome of the elections. I want to ask Mr. Tobe Nnamani, for you, even though people are still talking about whether the results reflected the will of the people, how do you even determine the will of the people?
The will of the people can be seen in several factors, even if the result that comes out of it is different. So that one is sure. It is not that things you can feel. Even if when the wind is blowing, you can feel it, but you may not be able to catch hold of it. The enthusiasm from the young people and the number of people I saw at Obora Square here when the registration was going on was a big sign for me. I said to myself, something is brewing up. Because we have never had that kind of enthusiasm in registration. Even with the sabotage, I keep saying it, INEC has not impressed me at all. If you ask me how we remove the chairman, disband, take out a lot of people there and actually set up an audit to find out who is it that is in charge of this INEC that it is performing woefully. Because remember, a lot of people were denied even registration. Some people had to go to court to get injunction to ask INEC to extend. What is it that INEC is going to gain in stopping people from registration? You understand that? So I don't have any confidence in INEC at all because of the way it is behaving now, and even in the court, we may come to that later. But the performance was not good. So for me, I think that the people have tried a lot, the few that were allowed even to get their PVCs. And even those people who got PVCs were suppressed. A great number was suppressed. Remember last week you were asking me about the international community, their verdict. So I went to read many things about what the international community has said. And in fact, I found one man from the US was so bitter and condemned whatever happened in INEC. And it is like that audit is not taking place. The body language from the government of the day, which apparently this flawed verdict had favored, is not showing that they want to undertake anything to remedy the situation. So that's where we are still in a very big, how do you call it? It's a dilemma.
Anyways, let's use the numbers, even though it's still contentious. Let's use the numbers for the purpose of this discussion. Labour Party won the Southeast. Do you think that would have an effect in the governorship elections that is due in 2 days?
Yes, in some places, but not in all.
How so?
The reason is that, as they say, all politics is local.
Okay.
And let us take Enugu for instance. Let's take Enugu for instance. If you look at all those who are vying in the big parties, so the big four, let's take the big four, PDP, APC, APGA, and Labour Party. All the most of the people there, the four of them actually had been in the PDP before. So how do you really evaluate them? If it is not the momentum that Tobe is bringing in. So Enugu will be a special case. You may have other places where those who came into Labour Party were fresh people that are not known before. And you cannot really evaluate them. You cannot say that the antecedents from what they have done in the past, that this is what we're expecting them to do. The whole issue is, I keep saying this, the people you are fighting for, are they on whose side? Who are they? So if you are not able to answer this question, and you don't have any mechanism to show that they will transform overnight and come to the side of the masses. Specifically in Enugu now, there are other factors that are playing around that are actually complicating matters that are making things very difficult here in Enugu. Yes, there are many factors. It's on the air, and people have been talking about it. And that might change the permutation and the constellation of what is going to happen in Enugu, because it may not just be a bandwagon effect. And you have heard about, I had your last, or somebody who called in during the last program to say that Labour Party is a party and Obedient Movement is different. You can differentiate two of them. So it is possible that somebody who is in Labour Party may not win. It is very possible because of that person's antecedent. If people say, okay, you are in Labour Party, but we don't really trust you enough, that you are jumped into Labour Party is not enough for us to vote for you. Because we are going to see what Labour Party will do when they get power. You understand? This is just the starting. This is just the first stage. And then you have also another divisive and antagonistic factor that is coming into Enugu of sectional chauvinist tendencies of people, groups. Remember what we talked about here, these people are from the other side, the other people are from the other side, and this factor is coming in to play a terrible role in what is going to happen on Saturday. So Enugu is not very predictable where it is going to go. I'm waiting to see where it will go, but from my own analysis, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough?
Yes, Enugu is going to be very tough.
I'm sure you must have heard this argument about, the Enugu East Senatorial Zone, 6 local governments there, Kano East and Kano West, Enugu North and South, and then issues of the argument about the candidates who's from Ususo, affiliated to, culturally to the Osoka Zone. Is that what you were referring to when you were talking about?
It is one of it. The other one is about not just section of cultural section, people who are from the same zone, but they have internal division about this group and that group.
Okay.
Yeah, that is playing out very seriously as we talk now. Yeah.
And you think
the issues of factor is a separate factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to discuss that?
No, that's what I'm talking about already. So we have divisions among the people, groups who are angling to capture power. Because this thing is all about power. But remember, I've always said my own approach is a bit different. So if you are crying for people, so what I always say is, the ordinary people in my village in Ekbo in Kano East, what is it that they are going to benefit from this thing that they are talking about? Because if they don't get anything from it, it will still remain with the 2% civil servants who get position or who gets this position or that. What is the number of the people who will get this thing you are talking about? For me, it is too small. The real people are still going to be suffering. So that's the point. So the two groups that are struggling to gain ascendancy to get to power, what will this power translate to when you get it? That's the point. So look at the issues of factor. If you ask the question, because Enugu has 17 local governments, Enugu North, which is Nsukka zone, has 6 local governments. If you put issues onto it, it will be 7. It will be a bit lopsided. But if you ask the question, why is Igbo Etiti, which has boundary with Udi, not added to Enugu West that has only 5 to make it 6?
Okay.
You understand? So it was not done that way. If Igbo Etiti had been added to Enugu West has only 5 local governments. If you add Igbo Etiti to it, it will be 6. And Nsukka will remain 6. You understand? And in Kano will remain 5. So in the end, because it's only 17, the problem that is arising here is also the fact that when you become a governor, you become like a lord and a king, and nobody tells you anything. It is only what you decide that is going to happen. Even when it is wrong, people at the back are clapping for you. That is what is fueling it. This person, governor, has to come from our side or the other side. And look at it here, people are feeling that Isuzo is culturally and linguistically affiliated to Nsukka, and they actually have gone to look at the things that have been done in these areas, and they believe that Isuzo has been favored because the present governor has looked at them as part of them, and then he did things for them. And the other 5 local governments in Kano, nothing was done. Do you see what is fueling the problem? So they are saying, okay, these people are not disadvantaged at all, so it would not be okay for them to get the governorship again. Yeah. So they're feeling that it has to come to what they call the Kano and the other 5 local governments.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you, that it's going to play in the voting, why it's not going to be so easy that Labour is going to sweep in everything, maybe in some. But these factors are very strong for those who, keen observers who are looking at things on the ground.
Okay, let's take a look at the senatorial zones. Enugu West, even when at the presidential level, Enugu was given to Labour Party winning landslide at the presidential level, but Enugu West voted a PDP candidate. That's Mr. Ungu. Do you think it will play any role in the result that comes out of Enugu West?
It may or it may not, because if they are voting individuals and they know that these people are going to Abuja, they don't have much influence in what happens in the state. So where the people going to Abuja have influence at all are related to constituency projects. And those who are vibrant enough to bring up bills that will affect. So if you look at it, what is the bill that is going to bring that will affect Enugu so much as such? That is not quite viable. That means that the governorship will have a different stake from the senatorial or House of Reps seats. So people can say, okay, for instance, I don't know whether it was here on Urban, Adobu has she been here?
Severally.
Okay, she had been here severally. For instance, she came out and her campaign was very vigorous and she was to the point, and I think she has endeared a lot of our people to herself that are going to, I will vote for her. Yes, even though she's in APC, so I'm looking at her personality. I'm looking at the things that she's talking about. For me, I'm convinced that she knows what she's talking about, and that she may have the ability and the influence to attract things to our side. You can see now, even though she's in APC, but I will vote for her. See, this is what makes Enugu a bit difficult to predict. So it is possible she might win Enugu East Senatorial Zone because of her personality, and not just because, many people have said APC is not
party where she
is a very hard sell. But you have to differentiate that it is not all people in APC that are bad. There are also some of them who have conscience, some of them who are doing well, and it's not everybody in PDP that is bad. You understand? So we're now looking at individuals. But where I have issue is, if the party has a program that is not implementing, you now leave everything to the whims and caprices of the person who is elected, because it can be a double-edged sword. So why I'm going into this party is because I believe that the party's manifesto program is something that aligns with my view, my perspective. So let me go into the party and use that platform to be able to achieve things that I align myself with.
Now you've delved into Enugu East. We know that the elections was actually shifted because of the death of Igbo Chukwu.
Yes.
Don't you think that people are going to vote along those sympathetic lines?
I don't think so, because that is not the issue at all. We are talking about who The people are talking. Even the person who unfortunately is no longer no more was coming into politics for the first time. I don't know him before. So the issue of sympathy vote, I think sympathy actually should go more to our people who are suffering. It's always to who is the vulnerable person. I think something could be done for the family, but the sympathy for me should go to our people who are suffering. We should. It is not easy to just say, okay, his brother he has replaced him, so let us vote. I don't buy that idea, and I don't think it is going to play so much. We are looking at the individuals. Who are those people who are vying for the positions? And during the campaigns, how articulate were they in what they were talking about?
Okay, Enugu North, that's where the governor comes from.
Yes.
And were you surprised that he lost? And would that in any way play a significant role in emergence of a new order from that zone?
I think we have a senator there already.
Yes.
So the other positions, those who are going to come into the House, I think the local factor will come in here. It is not certain that every House of Assembly member that is coming from there is going to go to Labour. It is not certain. Yeah, it is going to play according to what the people feel of where they are moving to. Don't forget, Labour is new, and we are only going to test them. If they get the governorship for 4 years, if they don't perform, we take them out. So that's what I hope, that because this job is just half done. We are just beginning. In fact, if it's a journey of 10 miles, we have not covered the 1 mile yet. This is the beginning. So whether I was surprised to a certain point, only for the fact that if the election was free and fair. Because for me, the performance of PDP in Enugu State for the past 24 years, you don't need to tell anybody on the street how they have performed. So if it has come to the point that the people have regained their power to be able to say, okay, we are not going with you again, I think I will go with it. I'm fine with it. But the House of Assembly members, we don't know how it is going to go. Yeah, it will be too much optimism to say, oh, because they won the Senate, everybody from there is now going to go to Labour.
So let's talk about the numbers. You mentioned that you don't trust INEC, and the fact that what they did on February 25 has made you even saddened, given the numbers of people who came out to exercise a franchise, and some of them waited and waited for far too long. If you don't trust them, why? What is, or the other thing that is making you think that they're going to make it right on Saturday?
We don't have any guarantee, but you have no option. If you don't have an option, like I say, when hunger is eating you, and you used to eat pounded yam with bitter leaf soup, and now you are reduced to eating okra soup that is watery and garri. And when hunger comes, you will eat that garri with okra soup that is watery. Yeah, so we don't. Right now, we don't have any alternative to INEC. But I can tell you, I'm not sure how long it is going to last. But INEC has disappointed almost all the time, except the Humphrey Nwosu election, which was different. I'm sure you know why that one was better. With the option A4 and only 2 parties, you stand in the line, they count 1, 2. That was the only transparent election we can talk about in Nigeria. And remember, we mentioned before that the part of what caused the January 15, 1966 coup was rigging of election. Both regional elections and federal elections were rigged. And elections have been rigged all the time here in Nigeria. And INEC is actually working I think INEC is not working for Nigeria. It's not.
You think so?
Yes, INEC is not working for Nigeria. Because of the facts on the ground. Just tell me any election in Nigeria. I have grown up to, I remember Michael Ane in Fedeco. I remember Emma Awa as INEC as a chairman. I remember, what is his name? Mosu, Jega, and this one. And normally it was zoned in different, the three regions before. Now you have two people coming from one region successively. Jega is from the north, Mahmoud is from the north. He should have gone down to the south or southeast or west. So I don't know why Buhari appointed his kinsman again there after Jega finished. Mahmoud should not have been there. He should have gone to another zone. So INEC keeps disappointing. INEC is actually behaving like a separate government, deciding who should vote and who shouldn't vote. Look at the winner of this election with 8 million votes out of 87 something million people that collected PVC that were supposed to vote. And you win with less than 10%. It doesn't make sense. So this is a farce. This is just like a joke. And with that 10%, you come to rule the people. I wonder how that person will be feeling. You can see that INEC, in order to construct what they now call the result, we are able to stop people from voting so that they will be able to manipulate this figure the way it is now. Because how do you explain it, Charles, that 87 million people collected PVC, 6 million refused to come and collect their own, and from the 87 million that you have, only how many people voted? They say 25 million people voted out of 87. So what happened? And we saw what happened, that INEC systematically prevented a lot of people from voting. And when the votes, those votes that were cast, some of them were thrown into the bush. They refused to record some. Some of them, the figures were mutilated. It was a very shoddy job that INEC did. In fact, if you ask me, they should get the man out and put him on trial. Yeah, what he did is like treason. Except that those he was doing it for are those who hired him to do the job.
Right, but again, there are many people like you who are saddened by the situation and have resolved not to even participate.
No, not participating is not an issue. I'm going to vote. What I did the other Saturday, I'm going to do it. I will be reporting to Energy FM. No, because if you go back now, that means you are conquered back again. We are trying to regain our, it's like slaves who have broken away from the stranglehold of the master. And the master is still having a small thread holding him on the neck. And this coming Saturday is a day to just cut that thread and then get free. The people are giving a fight, they are giving a fight back. The slave masters are not going to allow the slaves to just go free like that. They are coming back. And if care is not taken, they will actually regain some grounds.
All right. So many persons have also praised INEC of some sorts, given that you can't throw the baby with the bathwater.
In which way did they perform well?
In terms of what came out as a result in some areas, say the House of Reps and Senate. We know what has happened in Enugu in the last 20
No,
years.
that is not a credit to INEC, Charles. It's not a credit to INEC at all. This is the result of the vote that the people have done. We're talking about the logistics of INEC and the preparation for what they did. They have no contribution on my vote. My vote goes to the person I voted for. And they prevented people from voting, and those ones, some of those that were voted, they did not count them well. So what credit are you giving to them? No, I don't give the INEC any credit at all.
In terms of the reports, the results, especially from the House of Reps and Senate, a situation where for the first time you could see that people's vote really counted.
Yes, but that is not INEC's work. It is the people that made it. And INEC had committed itself with the beavers. Don't forget that we hired them to work for us. And they refused even to work fully with the tools that they asked money for. Do you know how much they got? So when my name is captured in the beaver as it is, INEC is not doing me any favor. So what is it that you think they have done that is extraordinary? So we are going back to the minimalist mentality that I talk about. How can we vote? Now that they even allowed us to vote and our vote counted, we thank God even for that. I'm not that kind of person. Because that's not their own work. It's not their contribution. So what we are praising them, thank God you even allowed the Senate vote that they voted to be transmitted for those people to win. For me, that's the mentality of people have why things are not working here instead of condemning things that are not good. If you hire somebody to do some work for you and the person has done it the way it is in the contract and you pay the person, well, you can say thank you, but it is not to overblow the thank you that you are giving. I'm not thanking INEC for allowing me to vote.
Let's talk about the people. The people as it stands. Do you think that what will happen on Saturday would have us relish on what we are about? We've seen over time how things turn out. A situation where people's will was subverted through vote buying or through intimidation or through threats. That has come up. Adobu, while she was here yesterday, complained about threats of people calling her and threatening her, saying blood would flow, those kinds of things. And then when you have these threats, people want to have their lives, at least to live another day after the elections. Do you think that political leaders or political pundits or political actors who engage in these kinds of brigandage, these types of intimidation in elections in any way have given themselves to the people so much that the only thing that they are left with is practically just violence?
I'm not sure if you have read the report that 20 states have voted enormous amount of money, billions, in order to hijack this coming Saturday election. Enugu is one of them.
Wow.
There are 20 states.
That has been investigated?
It has been investigated, yes. Some journalists, they have investigated and they've found what was on ground. Violence may happen in some places, but it will not stop people from coming out to vote. Remember, nobody even believed that vote was going to be cast in the southeast because of unknown gunmen. I remember a few weeks or days before that, the town unions came out to say, if you are coming to disrupt this election, we will meet at the junction. And it happened that we didn't see the unknown gunmen. When force is matching force, so the politicians are using fear. Remember, fear is one of the things that can cripple a man or a woman. And I admire Adobu's courage. They were not able to intimidate her. And that's the way I think it should be. Our people should not be afraid. I mentioned to you what happened in my own polling booth. Certain people, whoever they are, I don't want to mention names, came and wanted to do certain things. But when they heard the voices of about 20 guys who said, Ross, stop, otherwise. Understand? So when they looked at the number they are and looked at the number of forces that are against what they want to do, they backed down. So if it were so easy to just come and shoot a gun or shoot somebody down, carry a box, if you carry the box, if there's violence, you will lose. Your principal will lose in that, that, in that polling booth or in the ward. I hope you have heard it. If there are shootings, they will cancel all the votes in the place. So your candidate will lose. So I think it's better for them to go and test their popularity at the polling booth. Don't shoot anybody. Don't give anybody money. And you notice that people are now collecting money and they vote according to their conscience. So this is not the first time we are having this kind of threats and intimidation about voting. I remember in 2003, Enugu was hot. I was shooting everyone. You get up in the morning, actually, people died. Yeah, 2007 was also hot. I think that this one is even a bit better than the previous ones. So there's nothing new to Enugu people. I think the courage they have now, what I'm saying to people is, you will lose this battle if you don't come out on Saturday. You are going to lose the battle if you don't come out on Saturday.
What is for you an ideal result for Enugu State?
Ideal result is the result that the people have, the vote of the people. Please count them very well. Don't count 1, 2, 20, 43. You understand? So, Charles, this thing is very clear that in democracy you allow the people to choose. But you can see when political parties are being begged to allow the process to go through. So what are you expecting? For people who have been in power, and that is where they are getting, they shrink this place, I'm telling you, and everybody is kneeling down before them, you think they are going to give up the fight so easily. And when the people have learned, as Chinua Achebe said, since the naked bird has learned how to fly without perching, the hunter has learned how to shoot, you know, in order to get it. So our people now have learned that, it is possible to vote out somebody. Now is it true that this vote is going to count? That is the impetus that we have. And that's what I'm asking people, not to lose this momentum, because it is building. The next one is even going to be better, because we can now vote out a sitting governor if he doesn't perform in 4 years, and we throw him out. And that threat is what will make the governor to work if he wants to be here for 8 years. And not just want Ojebego, no Ojebego, so he's on top of the throne and nothing, and he doesn't even listen to the people. So what do you say when pensions are not paid, workers are not paid, and nothing is happening, and the person who is sitting there doesn't give a damn about how people feel? And if he now knows that the people can come and say, okay, let's meet you at the polling booth the next time. So please come out and vote. There's not going to be violence everywhere in some places. And when they see the number of people, it may not be as you are thinking. So I'm asking people to come out. I'm not afraid myself. I'm going to go out to vote. I will monitor. I will report in the radio. So let's see how it pans out. The result is going to be fantastic. I'm hoping to have a result that is very surprising. Yeah, if it goes out of the permutations we are making now, it will be okay. I would like it. Let's just count the vote and allow it to stand. Don't go and write the result at the back and say, let's go to court. Because what we know now is that most of the INEC people are compromised. You give them money and they get the EC8, whatever they call it, and go to the room and write one result and go and submit at the INEC office and call the result. We have now discovered that a lot of Labour Party votes in Port Harcourt were not counted. You understand? So it goes back to why you are praising INEC. I said, no, you can't praise INEC because INEC is sabotaging its own work. If it's not recording the accurate figure, the INEC is like a referee in the field. And of course, you know, if you are a fan of any club, I'm sure there are sometimes you notice that the referee is a bit hard on one thing. You understand? So, and if it is reported, that referee might be removed. So if you are an umpire, you have to play on allow the two teams to play on a very level playing ground. If not, then you become a member of the other club. So Barcelona is playing Real Madrid, but the referees are on the side of Real Madrid, so they are now 12 against 11. You can't. So if the INEC, the umpire, is on the part of one party, or another person who pays him money and is not working for Nigerians, is working for the man who has paid him extra money or who has bought food house for him in London. Those people actually are committing treason. They should be brought out and be jailed. But of course, the weak system is not permitting anything to happen.
All right. The PDP has ruled for 24 years. Like May 29, it should be 24 years since they have been holding sway in Enugu.
Yes.
Do you think the performance of the PDP would either make or mar the Vice Chancellor?
Yes. Majorly, the performance is going to count, but I told you other factors that have come in to mitigate what is going to happen. Yeah, but if in terms of performance, PDP has nothing to show.
Wow.
In the entire Southeast, I'm not just talking about Enugu. Tell me any state. Only Anambra, when Tobe was there, tell me any other states that came up for anything. The entire Southeast has been grounded by the parties. The inroad of APC in Ebonyi and Imo State wasn't the matter. Yeah, destroyed everything actually, whatever may have been built before. So the entire Southeast, our people are, Igbo people are crying, the Igbo people are under siege by their own people, not those from Abuja. Buhari is not here, Tinubu is not going to be here. Tobe is not going to be in Enugu here to give us water. And mind you that according to the constitution, the president has no right to call the governor in Enugu to say how did you spend the money. I hope you know that. It is for our own House of Assembly and we in Enugu that should be asking the question. So what do you see? It is the same impunity that has continued to take place. They don't care about the people. You can actually describe what is happening like wickedness of the highest level. Remember why nations fell, the origin of prosperity and poverty. It is by the decision that those in authorities make that keep people poor or rich. Don't forget it. So the decisions that have been consistently made are keeping us poor. And that's what we want to break out from. We are waiting for any person who is going to be governing is going to be tough. I will be among those to go to the street. Yes, we will go to the street. If in the next 6 months we don't have water in Enugu, we'll go to the street.
All right, join the conversation this morning. You can call into the studio. It's 0700-1055-1055. You can also call 0700-1055-0000. You can call, make your comments, your question short and straight to the point. Hello? Good morning. Kirian in Okal, go ahead.
Please, Mr. Tobe, I want to beg you something. Help me and beg INEC. INEC, I've blacklisted INEC on my phone. Why are you telling me text message this morning now? Please, talk to them. Help me.
What did they send you? What did they send you?
What did they say? What did they say to you, Killian? That's what I'm telling you. Please go and vote. Don't chicken out. Don't chicken out in fear. Okay, you know we are just trying to manage them because it's a dilemma. We don't have any other thing to do than to deal with them.
Perform well. Right now, people have this negative attitude towards the performance of the present governor of Enugu State. So, and I think many people desire a change because of that. So, even if by chance the candidate of PDP wins, he will know that if it not perform well, that he will be replaced. So you want to sit up. So I thank God for this, for what is happening right now. So we should not relent. We should come out again and do what we did before.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Hello. Okay. Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
When they say the INEC this land that will people's vote, when you ask your guest in the studio, you made mention of just 8 million voted for Tinubu, and now you shouldn't be happy that 8 million voted for Tinubu. If the event was the case, that Tobe was declared winner with the same number of persons that voted for Tinubu, will he come on radio station to say INEC do not perform their duties to
Yes,
defend
I
the
will.
vote of
There are two different arguments. Please don't mix two of them. They are not the same. I'm talking about the number of people who collected PVC and what INEC did to prevent millions of people from voting that made it that only 25 million people voted. This is a separate argument. Whether it was Obi who won or Tinubu Atiku, don't mix two of them. I'm not happy with what INEC is doing. That's what I'm talking about. It's not about who won.
All right. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Reverend, you have said it all. And I want to encourage my fellow youth to come out in March on Saturday to vote for their preferred candidate. But Reverend, I want to ask you, now INEC has configured their EVAs. They have reconfigured it. What would be your say if by Saturday, after this election, they start to transmit that election, their results to INEC portal? What will you say? Please, I want to know what will be
Yes, it will mean the same thing I'm talking about, that INEC is doing its own work and not for Nigerians. I'm not sure they are going to do all that is required, because the body language you are getting from them is not like they are even sorry for what they did. Don't forget that when there was problem on perceived problem on INEC IREF, that Professor Yakubu did not come out to tell us that there was a problem. It was only when people found out that the results were not being uploaded several hours, and when he was told about it, he even refused to stop, because they told him, Nnamani told him, stop this calling and let us look at the figure you are calling, where it is coming from. So if on Saturday they did the same thing they have done, then it is for we Nigerians to find a way to get the man out and then begin another election and cancel this one altogether. There's no guarantee that INEC has learned anything. I think it will have.
Okay. You were going to say something.
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Justice.
Good morning. Okay, I'm not talking for the political parties' justice, but there's something I think you need to learn is that the politicians know that the people have short memory. They come and promise them heaven and earth and they clap. The crowd is hired. People are paid to come and chant slogans and clap. But where me and you are failing it is, let me ask you, do you know your chairman in the local government? Have you ever gone to meet him? That's part of the problem, because if you go to him, if 5,000 people are coming to meet the chairman within a year, asking him questions, you give somebody a job and you go and sleep. The function of a state is multi-dimensional. It is not just water. There are other things that can be done simultaneously. So while it is important to say focus more on something, that is better to say give water 50% while you give education other percentages. You don't just stop the running of the state in order to provide water, because all these things we are talking about can be provided simultaneously. And please, Justice, don't make the mistake of thinking that the reason why those things are not done properly is because the governor does not know what to do or he's lacking the capacity. I totally disagree. It is not lack of capacity. It is not ignorance. It is not the kind of region where he comes from. He purposely refuses to do that. And when you ask questions deeper, you find out it is not the lack of money that we don't have water in Enugu. After all, the World Bank has given money to Enugu to provide water 2 or 3 times. So it is not lack of money. It is not lack of water engineers who will prepare how to pipe water from Ajali River or wherever you want to get it, to pipe the water into Enugu. That is not what the problem is. It is the political will. It is the decision to disperse that money and follow that money to make sure that it does what it is meant for, especially money coming from outside, not our own money. And the people come to demand for account and that water is not still there, and then you think that a particular agency will give you money again. Of course, World Bank gave us money 2 times. I'm not sure they're going to give the 3rd one. We have enough money to provide water. Let the governor or whoever is coming in bring a feasibility study he has done to show us how much it will cost. How much will it cost to pipe water into that reservoir that is near New Market? How much will it take to dig out the old pipes that the PWD in those days laid to put galvanized pipes on the ground? How much will it cost? That is little money. So don't ever mistake the terrible things that are happening as the people don't know what to do. Why are they then government? They can hire the best. So this is the mistake people are making. They know what to do, they don't want to do it, and you leave them alone. After sometimes they grow wings and they become emperors and you cannot even talk to them anymore. And they drive you into the gutter when they are passing.
We are almost out of time. It's 10:56. We just have 4 minutes to wrap things off. So we expect that Enugu residents march out en masse, just like they did on February 25, to cast their ballots. Just like the Reverend has actually said, yes, he feels really bad about the outcome due to some of the exigencies or some of the issues faced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, but that doesn't even deter him. So I would urge you to be like him, to come out en masse, because if the numbers are much, it will be very difficult for anyone who is looking to read. So we ask that you come out and cast your ballot and do it peacefully. If you want to stay back to count the votes, please do that peacefully. Report anything at all that is happening around you, whether it's we're hoping that this violence isn't part of what the situation we're going to find ourselves on Saturday. We're hoping that it's going to be all free, fair, credible, and we'll be excited about what the result is, whoever at the end of the day emerges. After all, they are all out to serve the allegiance of the. I want to say a very big thank you, sir, for your time as usual. It's always a fantastic time having to listen to you every single Thursday, to teach, to improve our learning, and to make our society a lot better than it has been. Thank you again, Reverend Tobe Nnamani, for your time and for your teaching again.
Thank you so much, Charles. Just to say to our people, please keep your camera handy. Capture anything you can, because the evidence that is going to be presented in the court, a lot of them will depend on what was captured at the polling booths. Keep your camera handy and picture as many things as possible and report them. Thank you.
All right, so we got the videos as well. We've got phones that are digital. Get videos and send to us via our WhatsApp platform 0700 1055 1055. So we're going to be doing the reportage from here on Saturday. So stick around. This is Energy 105.5.